What do you think about Charles Barkley and Don Lemon's comments about the black community and the LGBTQ community? So recently, Chuck stopped by and they had a conversation about how black people are the worst treaters of LGBTQ people. There was no pushback from Don Lemon. Here's the clip.
But it really just makes me sad that 60 years later, we're still having racial conversations 60 years later.
And more than a decade ago, I do have to say, and then I'll let you guys jump in here because I don't want to hog the conversation. One of the first people to contact me after I came out was this man right here. And that was over a decade ago. So these issues are really important to you, and you always stand up for people's individual rights.
Well, you know, Don, first of all, one thing that always has disturbed me as a black person, which really bothers me about the Kyrie Irving situation and the Kanye West situation, first of all, being black in America is already hard enough. And for us to go at other ethnic groups just makes things worse because it's hard enough being black. And one thing that's always disappointed me, black people treat gay people, we are the worst when it comes to treating gay people. And that's one thing growing up, it really always bothers me. And I want to reach out to you and all my gay friends, all my transgender friends, and tell you, man, I got nothing but love and respect for you. I want you to be you. And I wanted you to know that day, because I understand being black, what it's like being gay, because you get mistreated, and it's really unfortunate and sad and stupid, to be honest with you.
Charles, you mentioned your home state of Alabama. We both share that.
Thank you for that, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a lovely. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Initially, it seems like Don Lemon brought on Chuck to talk about Kyrie Irving's suspension. But then it gets really hard to follow because, well, we speak English, and Chuck's an idiot. And then the conversation switches again because they go into Dave Chappelle's SNL appearance. But Chuck brings up gays. And Dave Chappelle talked about Kanye West and Kyrie Irving in the Jewish community. But that's not what Chuck's talking about. He's talking about gay rights. Chuck's an idiot. He just is. He's an offensive idiot, but only to black people. He goes out of his way not to offend anyone else. Funny how that happens. So Don then redirects him to talk about how great, Charles Barkley was towards him personally when it came to his personal situation of coming out on network news. So then Charles proceeds to throw all black people under the bus about how badly black people treat gay people. Then I really get lost, and it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. Lemon doesn't push back on Chuck when Chuck says black people don't support the gay community. But then he cites how Chuck supported him. It doesn't make sense. You just said black people don't support the gay community, but Chuck supported you when no one else did. I don't know if you noticed or not, Don, but Chuck is black. We love to trade him for a box of nickels. Don Lemon says that Chuck is the only person that's still behind him. Chuck called him up like a true brother would do. Then you let Chuck say that black people don't support gay people, but Chuck is black and you are black, and there you go supporting one another. So this doesn't make much sense. But who cares? Who cares about making sense? We're here to bash the blacks. That's the narrative. That's the whole purpose of this episode, whatever this is, this appearance. But let's take it off of that for a second. Because let's get to the larger point. Now that you brought it up, let's talk about this shit. The best way that we can look at this is through data. If you look at the FBI data about who's getting hurt, who's having the most horrible treatment, it will be black people. According to the FBI, hate crimes are mostly committed due to race and ethnicity. We're talking 5,000 race-related hate crime attacks to 1,000 orientation-related attacks. 5 to 1, if we're talking about hate crimes. Now look, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, man, I realize that there are people who experience all types of shit in America. You may have been ostracized by your family, you may have been treated badly by your community, or by people in your neighborhood, or at school, or what have you. That's your experience, and I know it's a big deal if you're going through it, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is, that's not the entire black community. That's not even most of the black community. It's those idiots that are doing it. But there's no data to show that black people are the worst treaters of gay people. And once we move out of the hate crime realm, we're in this place called regular world. We're talking things like discrimination, selling you a home, interest rates, all the other types of discrimination that we are impacted with every day. Cops pulling us over. I wonder how many cops are pulling over gay people just because they're gay. And how the fuck would they ever know it? But here's the thing, guys. America is run by white people. It just is. And if you're treated badly in America, it's probably by the white power structure. I'm tired of people in the LGBTQ community who divorce themselves from the black community. When they have a problem, they run back to the black community because then they realize, oh my God, the gay community is full of a lot of white people. And some of them are racist. Then you got nowhere to go because no matter how gay you are, or how straight you are, or how you identify, or how trans you are, you're still black. Recently, there was another massacre shooting up a gay club. I did not see Chuck calling out the white community for slaughtering innocent gay people at a club. I would assume on the graph of what's most fucked up, taking their life would be right at the top of the list. This ain't the first time, Chuck, that white guys have shot up gay bars or gay clubs. If you're gonna walk out there on national TV, Don Lemon and Charles Barkley, and you're gonna say that black people are the worst treaters of gay people, you gotta be able to prove it. You can't just say it, or you shouldn't be allowed to say it. You gotta have something underneath that. You gotta have something backing up your claim, besides you feel a certain way. Don Lemon, you wouldn't even be on CNN if black people didn't support you, because I got a feeling the number one people that watch you, Don Lemon, are probably black people. That's right, Don. Those are the people that fucking watch you, us. You like bringing Chuck on to shit on black people, and then you run into your gay community corner and pretend, or all of a sudden, you're not black. All of a sudden, you're this other thing. You're a gay man, and that's how you identify. Well, just know this. If you ever get Tiffany crossed too soon, Melissa Harris parried, or Chris rocked, okay? Don't come running to us. Run to the gay community. We don't run Lobby Hobby or Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A. We don't run those companies. We're not keeping you off the Grammy stage. We don't got enough votes. I don't know how many gay pianists are at white churches or band leaders or choir directors. But I know there are a lot in the black community. What's so disrespectful are all of the people that sit back and allow Don Lemon and Charles Barkley to spew this shit. And if it was any other group that they were stereotyping this way, we'd never hear the end of it. But since it's us, you get to do it. And not only do you get to do it, people applaud it. If you like your news like you like your oysters, raw, subscribe to this channel.